Here's the real question. How do dentists like you, who aren't willing to let insurance dictate how you will run your practice, who want to create incredibly profitable practices without sacrificing your time or sanity, how do you create the strategies to ensure your practice not only survives, but thrives in the 21st century? That's the blaring question, and Dr. Steve Schlintz is here to provide the answers. Welcome to Dental Practice Freedom Radio.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dr. Steve Schlintz, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of Dental Practice Freedom Radio, and another episode without video. I don't know how long that video thing's going to work. I haven't given up hope on it yet, but the last few have just been audio only, and been traveling a lot. As some of you know, I kind of hop to and from states, it seems like, and last week I was in Nashville for a team workshop, and in a couple weeks I'll be up in Connecticut doing a speaking engagement with some clients of a consultant and doing my own event with her to make sure that, we're on the, I'm going to be talking to her probably today to make sure we're on the same page, make sure that there's, we work through some stuff. So excited on that front. Got another team workshop coming up in June. So just a lot of travel, a lot of getting out the dental sales secrets process into the hands of the teams that I'm working with. And it's been phenomenal the last year. I just looked, I think there were 64 members now on the platform for Dental Sales Secrets. And I was talking a little bit before about, in the last episode, about the minimal viable product and my niche and the dentist that I best serve. And, is Dental Sales Secrets for everybody. And I talked about that. Yes, anybody could learn from it, but there's a specific offering and a specific type of dentist that I think gets the best results with the program. And so I'm tailoring it to that dentist and what they struggle with and how they can best use it. And what's interesting is I was going through a program myself, and I've been going through it the last week. And the mentor in this program said something that I think is just so important. And it was along the lines that whatever's going on, like a business problem is basically an internal problem or a self problem that's perpetuated into the business. And what that means is basically any problem that you have internally, whether it's you can't get organized, you have a self-image issue, you have a confidence issue, it's going to be projected in your business. So all business problems are a reflection of internal problems. And I thought about the same thing when it comes to our practices. All practice problems are also personal problems, and all practice problems are business-related problems. And so this is why I think it's so important that dentists understand on some level general marketing, general business 101 concepts, especially when you're trying to create a more service-oriented style practice. And I have a lot of dentists that are either insurance network dependent, that are trying to get free of insurance networks and be able to do what they want to do and be able to charge what they want to charge for the services they provide and, get compensated for what they're worth, or dentists that are already out of network or do not deal with insurance contracts, but are trying to stay that way and enhance what they do so they can offer a better service to their patients. And what's interesting is the concepts that I'm learning growing my coaching business are exactly the same things that you do to develop your dental practice. And I was talking to somebody today actually about call centers and how we get patients in and whether call centers are effective and things of that nature, and how should we be training our teams to accept calls. And this podcast episode is not going to be a lengthy discussion about whether call centers are effective. And the answer is they can be effective if you make them effective. But I have told a lot of clients, listen, if your office can't screen the patients and bring the right patients into your practice, you're going to have an issue. Because a call center inherently is designed for one thing. It's to bring new patients into your practice, which is what they're getting paid for. And they get compensated based on how many new patients they can get into your practice. I said, if you do that, just be aware that you're not going to be able to control the flow of new patients into your practice. And you're also not going to be able to get probably the right types of new patients into your practice all the time unless your marketing is absolutely slam dunk on point. So I don't have a problem with call centers. I'm just saying that that's not how I typically teach my clients to, or, my dentist to get patients to begin with. So listen, understand who you are, what you're offering, why you're offering it, and then create a system that allows you to attract the new type of patient that you want into your practice. And I've told everybody, there was a point in time that we had, we don't have a lot of new patients in a month. I'm only there 2 days a week clinically right now. And we're exploring some options to be able to expand our hours again and allow me to coach more, but still have a practice that's vibrant and growing and developing and thriving. I looked at the numbers. We actually saw 1,000 less patient visits in 2018 versus 2015. 1,000 less visits. We went from like 3,700 visits to 2,700. But the collections in the practice were $130,000 more, and the production per visit went up $100. So it went from I forgot what it was, like 190 to 290. Now, if you do the math on that, it's almost a 33% growth in 4 years. Working 4 days down to 2, that's insane. That's absolutely insane, right? And I said, well, once we understand this model, we could actually grow and scale it now because we have a model that's replicatable. Like, this actually works. And so that's what I teach every dentist that I work with. Like, listen, you don't have to work 4 and 5 days a week if you know who it is you are, who your ideal patient is, and how you're going to be able to best deliver your ideal offering to your ideal patient. And the further you enhance and refine that process, the more profitable you'll be. And as a result, you can scale your business more because now you're more profitable. You can put more money in knowing that you're going to be more profitable on the back end. And the same thing works in my coaching business. It's taken a while, but I've went through the same thing in my coaching business that I've done in my dental practice. I've further refined who it is that I'm serving, how am I best serving them, how am I getting a result, and then deliver a system and a process that allows them to do that. It's exactly how my office is set up, right? Patient comes into me. I get to know a little bit about them, what they're looking to achieve. I talk to them about our process, and if it's a good fit, great, they're a new patient. If it's not, no harm, no foul, they go on to the next dentist. So my coaching calls, for example, coming into Dental Sales Secrets, laid out exactly the same way. They might find me either through a Facebook ad, through this podcast, organically, whatever it is. Hey, let's get together. Let's figure out where you're at, where you want to go. I'll talk to you a little bit if it's a good fit, if I know that I'm going to be able to help you, what I do, how I do it. And if we are in agreement, then we can talk about what it's going to cost and what's involved, right? We should be doing the same thing with our patients, right? If I'm getting a new patient in, I've done this a lot. I will go and spend 20 to 25 minutes with a potential new patient at no charge for a consult and just see if it's a good fit. If they don't show up, I already know it's not a good fit. If they say, I only want a cleaning, then as a practice, I have to decide whether or not I want a patient that is purely driven by cleanings. Now, I will tell you that in some instances, that's not a problem for me. Great. We can meet you where you're at, but you need to know philosophically about where we want to take you so you can make sure it's a good fit before you come into this practice. And then I have patients that come in and they're like, it's a slam dunk. And so we can start the process at that point. I put those consults at the end of the day so that if they run a little bit longer, that's okay. I'm not cutting into the rest of my schedule, but I'm also going to be able to dictate where this patient's going to go at in the process. And I have 4 points of entry. And I talked about this at the team workshop in Nashville. I have 4 points of entry in my practice. One is like routine care. Those are the patients I've seen a dentist every 6 months, and I'm just here to get a cleaning. And, one of two things is going to happen with those patients historically in my practice, especially when they're new patients. One is they stay, they understand the wellness-centered approach that we have, and then they gravitate towards higher levels of care. Or two, they eventually just self-select out because they realize we're not in network. They can probably save $5 someplace else, and then they go someplace else. I don't lose sleep over that, right? It doesn't matter to me. And the reason it doesn't matter is exactly what I talked about at the beginning. I'm seeing 1,000 less visits per year, and I'm making $130,000 more than I was when I was seeing 1,000 more visits. So 1,000 less visits, $130,000 more a year. I'll take that every day. Could there be a point at which you just see so few patients that you can't stay profitable? Absolutely. I'm not even close to being there yet. I'm actually excited about those numbers because I know that what I'm doing is actually working. So, you have that point of entry, which is the general point of entry. Then I have the emergency entry. Those are the patients we see all the time. They might be new patients. They come in. It's an emergency only. They have a tooth that's hurting. We were the first available office that they called, and we see them. And again, same thing happens. Either we see them, treat the emergency, they become general patients, and they self-select out, or they move to a higher level of care. The third point of entry is a TMJ-focused entry, because that is my point of differentiation in my area. So people do come to me for TMJ/TMD. If you're a general patient right now, you're listening, it's TMJ. If you're a dentist, it's TMD. I've just given up on that debate. I don't care. Call it what you want. Patients that have jaw pain, headaches, neck pain, tooth wear, they come to see me. We go through a different process entirely. And then we have a wellness-oriented approach, which patients are looking for more comprehensive care. They know that we're different. They might not necessarily have TMJ-related issues, but they come in and they do something very, very similar to the TMJ entry. We just change the focus a little bit. We change how we deliver the message. So my team knows that there's 4 points of entry. And my team also knows how to get them into those 4 points of entry depending on what it is they're interested in looking for. I would have a hard time figuring out how a call center would be able to differentiate truly which one of those 4 points of entry a patient should belong to. And I will say this, you could make the argument, well, just bring them in, and if you have to change a point of entry, then that's fine. Totally true. But you also know the saying, you only get one chance to make a first impression. If this patient is coming in specifically for a TMJ-related issue and the first thing they get is a cleaning, I think the relationship has already been damaged to some level. It's not permanently irreversible, but it's damaged. They've now associated you with, just like every other dentist, the patient comes in, the hygienist does the cleaning, the doctor does the exam at the very end, gives them a treatment plan. I don't want to be that dentist. So I have to create a system that's different. So with call centers, and it's not to bash call centers. I'm not here to bash call centers. There's some really good ones. But I'm just saying, like, think about your new patient process and think about your phone screening before you offload, I think, and off-source one of the most important things you do in your practice. I would make a commitment to say I'm going to get my team the training they need to be able to handle those calls effectively. And the better they get with those calls, that's one less thing I have to worry about, is me getting to the right types of patients. And the better you can get at having the right patients come in through the right process, your back-end stuff will become so much easier. The time you spend with your patients will decrease, but the quality will be so much better. So I want you guys to think about that. Thank you so much for listening to this. There's a new training. It's in the bio. I encourage you to watch it. It's all about what I'm helping dentists with. If you guys have not seen that training yet, it outlines the 2 different models in dentistry, which one that you want to be in, and then gives you a step-by-step instruction on what to start investing in to make sure that that becomes reality. So I highly encourage you to check that out. Thank you so much for the reviews and the ratings and the listens and the downloads. The downloads have really grown in the last month, which is amazing. Thank you. I think the downloads are up by 400% or 500% in the last month, which is phenomenal. And I appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your day to listen to this podcast episode and the podcast in general. If you have any questions or concerns for me, don't hesitate to reach out. You can either watch the training and set up a free strategy session call with me. And also, there's many different ways you can get in contact with me, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's through admin@mountainskycoaching.com. I just encourage you to reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you, love to interact with you. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you at the next one.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode on Dental Practice Freedom Radio with Dr. Steve Schlintz. We'll see you on the next episode.